Every year, thousands of European car buyers lose their life savings to automotive nightmares, hidden flood damage, odometer fraud, and catastrophic engine failures that dealers won't tell you about. One particular warning sign is so critical that missing it could cost you over €8,000 in repairs, and 73% of buyers completely ignore it. If you're shopping for a used car in 2025, the next 12 minutes could save you from the biggest financial mistake of your life. Car dealers don't want you to see this information. Why? Because the used car market is flooded with automotive disasters masquerading as bargains. We're talking about flood-damaged vehicles from recent European floods, accident cars with hidden structural damage, and engines with timing chain failures that could self-destruct without warning. According to ADAC's 2024 used car report, nearly 18% of inspected vehicles have undisclosed major defects. The average repair cost for these hidden problems? €4,200. That's more than many people's annual car budget, and it's completely avoidable if you know what to look for. But here's what's really disturbing. These aren't just cosmetic issues or minor inconveniences. We're talking about safety-critical failures that put you and your family at risk. Brake systems that can fail without warning, airbags that won't deploy in a crash, and structural damage that makes the car unsafe at any speed. If you're finding this breakdown of automotive nightmares helpful, smash that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. We're about to expose 7 warnings that could save you thousands, and you definitely won't want to miss what's coming next. The first warning sign is something most buyers barely glance at: paint inconsistencies. But here's what professional inspectors know that you don't. Mismatched paint is like a fingerprint of disaster. When you're examining any used car, look for what experts call color shifting. This isn't just about different shades, it's about texture, gloss, and finish quality. Factory paint has a specific orange peel texture that's incredibly difficult to replicate. If one panel looks too smooth or too rough compared to others, that's a red flag worth thousands. But here's the killer deal most people miss: overspray. Check the rubber seals around windows, door handles, and trim pieces. Professional body shops mask these areas meticulously. If you find paint or rubber seals, you're looking at either accident damage or rust repair that someone tried to hide. The numbers are staggering. DEKRA's inspection data shows that 31% of cars with paint inconsistencies had undisclosed accident damage worth more than €5,000 to repair properly. Even worse, many of these vehicles had compromised structural integrity that made them dangerous to drive. Here's a professional trick. Use your phone's flashlight to examine panel gaps. Run the light along the seams between the doors, hood, and the trunk. Factory gaps are laser precise, typically 3 to 5 millimeters and perfectly consistent. Uneven gaps, especially the ones that get wider or narrower along their length, indicate the car has been taken apart and reassembled after a crash. Warning sign number 2 hits you the moment you open your door: smell. But we're not talking about obvious odors like cigarette smoke. We're talking about the subtle scents that reveal catastrophic damage. The most dangerous smell is actually the sweetest, a syrupy antifreeze odor that indicates coolant leaks. This often points to head gasket failures, one of the most expensive repairs in automotive maintenance. BMW's N47 diesel engines, for example, are notorious for this problem, with repairs exceeding €8,000. But there's another smell that's even more sinister: the musty mildew odor that indicates flood damage. European flooding in recent years has put thousands of water-damaged cars back on the market. These vehicles are automotive time bombs. Water gets into every system: electronics, transmission, differential, and even the engine oil. According to the insurance industry data, flood-damaged cars that aren't properly disclosed cause an average of €12,000 in subsequent problems for unsuspecting buyers. The electronics fail gradually, the transmission develops internal corrosion, and rust spreads through hidden areas of the chassis. Here's what professional inspectors do. They check for water damage signs in hidden areas, look under floor mats for silt deposits, check the spare tire well for rust or mud, and examine electrical connections for corrosion. Fresh air fresheners hanging from the mirror? That's often a desperate attempt to mask flood damage. Warning sign number 3 is odometer fraud, and it's more common than you might think. In Germany alone, ADAC estimates that 2.3 million vehicles on the road have tampered odometers. That's nearly 1 in 10 used cars. Modern digital odometers are actually easier to manipulate than old mechanical ones. Criminal networks use specialized equipment to roll back mileages, sometimes by 100,000 kilometers or more. A car that shows 80,000 kilometers might actually have done 180,000 kilometers, completely changing its value and reliability. Here's how to spot it. Examine wear patterns that should match the claimed mileage. The driver's seat bolster, steering wheel wear, and pedal rubber should all tell the same story. A steering wheel worn smooth on a 50,000 kilometer car is a dead giveaway. But there's a more sophisticated check that most buyers never do. Cross-reference service records with MOT history. In the UK, you can check MOT mileage records online going back years. Any discrepancies or sudden drops in recorded mileage are red flags for tampering. Professional tip: check the wear on interior switches and controls, window switches that are worn smooth, radio volume knobs with the markings rubbed off, and gear selector wear that seems excessive for the claimed mileage all indicate odometer fraud. Warning sign number 4 requires you to listen carefully. Engine noises that spell disaster. Most buyers turn on the radio during test drives, but that's exactly when you need your ears the most. The most expensive sound you can hear is a knocking noise from the bottom of the engine. This indicates worn crankshaft bearings, what mechanics call rod knock. Once you hear this sound, the engine is essentially scrap metal. Repair costs can exceed €6,000 because it requires a complete engine rebuild. But there's a subtler sound that's almost as dangerous: the metallic tapping from the top of the engine that doesn't go away after warming up. This often indicates timing chain problems, particularly common in BMW's N47 engines and Peugeot's 1.2 PureTech units. These engines can suffer catastrophic failure when the timing chain stretches or breaks. Here's what the data shows. Engines with timing chain problems have a 67% chance of complete failure within 18 months if not addressed immediately. The average repair cost is €4,800, and many of these engines are beyond economical repair. Professional inspectors also listen for turbocharger whistle or grinding. Modern European cars rely heavily on turbocharging, and turbo failure is increasingly common. A failing turbo doesn't just stop working, it can send metal fragments throughout the engine, causing total destruction. Warning sign number 5 affects one of the most expensive components to replace: the transmission. Automatic transmission problems are particularly costly, with replacement costs often exceeding €5,000. The most dangerous symptom is transmission slipping, when the engine revs increase but the car doesn't accelerate proportionately. This indicates internal clutch pack failure in automatic transmissions. Once slipping starts, complete failure usually follows within weeks. For manual transmissions, pay attention to clutch engagement. If the clutch bites very high and the pedal travel, it's nearly worn out. Clutch replacement costs vary, but on modern European cars with dual-mass flywheels, you're looking at €1,200 to €2,000 for the complete job. But here's what's really dangerous: DSG dual-clutch transmissions found in VAG Group cars. These transmissions have specific failure modes that can leave you stranded. The DQ200 dry clutch DSG, in particular, has a known issue with clutch shudder that progressively worsens until the transmission fails completely. ADAC data shows that DSG transmission repairs average €3,400, and many of these units are not economically repairable. If you're looking at a car with a DSG transmission, budget for potential replacement costs or walk away entirely. Warning sign 6 is the electronic systems that control everything in modern cars. When these fail, the repair costs can be astronomical because they're impossible to fix with simple part replacements. The most critical check is the dashboard warning light test. When you turn the ignition on without starting the engine, every warning light should illuminate briefly, then go out. If the airbag light or check engine light doesn't come on at all, the bulb may have been deliberately removed to hide a fault. This is a particularly nasty deception. Some sellers remove warning light bulbs to hide expensive problems like airbag system failures or emission system defects. An airbag system fault can cost €2,000 to repair, while emission system problems often require exhaust after-treatment component replacements costing €3,000 or more. Modern cars also have integrated infotainment systems that control multiple vehicle functions. When these fail, replacement costs are shocking. A new BMW iDrive system costs over €4,000 to replace. Mercedes command units can cost €3,500. These aren't just entertainment systems, they control climate, navigation, and sometimes even safety systems. Professional inspectors test every electronic function during their evaluation. Power windows that move slowly often indicate failing motors or regulators. Air conditioning that doesn't get cold may need compressor replacement. Each of these seemingly minor issues can cost between €800 and €1,500 to repair. The 7th and most dangerous warning sign is hidden structural damage. This is the one that can kill you. and it's the hardest for average buyers to detect. Professional accident repair often looks perfect on the surface, but the underlying structure may be compromised. Cars that have been in serious accidents and professionally repaired can still have bent frame rails, weakened crumple zones, or improperly welded structural components. Here's what crash reconstruction experts know. Even professionally repaired accident damage changes how a car behaves in subsequent crashes. The crumple zones may not work as designed, airbags might not deploy correctly, and the passenger compartment may not maintain its integrity. The numbers are terrifying. Euro NCAP data shows that vehicles with undisclosed structural repairs have a 34% higher risk of serious injury in subsequent accidents. This isn't just about money, it's about your life and the lives of your passengers. Professional tip: look for signs of welding in areas where there shouldn't have been any. Factory welds are clean, precise, and consistent. Repair welds are often messier, with different colors or textures in the surrounding metal. Check the frame rails visible in the engine bay. They should be straight and show no signs of impact or repair. Even with all this knowledge, there's one step that's absolutely critical: the pre-purchase inspection by an independent mechanic. This isn't optional if you're serious about avoiding a disaster. A proper PPI costs between 150 and 300 euros, but it could save you thousands. Professional inspectors have equipment you don't: paint thickness gauges to detect bodywork, compression testers for engine health, and diagnostic computers to read fault codes from every system. The statistics are compelling. ADAC data shows that buyers who invest in professional inspections avoid problem cars 89% of the time. Those who skip this step have a 1 in 4 chance of buying a car with major hidden defects. Here's what a proper inspection includes: complete undercar examination on a lift, diagnostic scan of all electronic systems, compression test of the engine, brake system inspection, and verification of all paperwork against the vehicle's actual condition. Don't let sellers pressure you out of this step. If they refuse to allow an independent inspection, that's the biggest red flag of them all. Honest sellers with nothing to hide welcome professional inspections because they validate the car's condition. Before you even see a car in person, there's digital detective work you must do. Vehicle history reports from companies like HPI Check or Carfax can reveal disasters that sellers hope you'll never discover. These reports check for outstanding finance, insurance write-offs, stolen vehicle records, and mileage discrepancies. The small cost, typically 20 to 40 euros, can save you from buying someone else's financial nightmare. Outstanding finance is particularly dangerous. If the seller hasn't cleared the finance, the car still technically belongs to the finance company. They can repossess it from you even after you've paid for it. This affects approximately 8% of used cars in the UK market. Insurance write-offs are categorized by severity. Category S or structural damage cars should be approached with extreme caution. Category N or non-structural damage cars might be acceptable if properly repaired, but they're worth significantly less than clean cars. The data is clear. Cars with hidden histories lose value rapidly and suffer from ongoing problems. A Category S car is worth approximately 30% less than a clean equivalent, and many insurance companies won't provide comprehensive coverage. The test drive is your final opportunity to detect problems, but most buyers do it wrong. You need at least 30 minutes covering city streets, highway speeds, and parking maneuvers. And critically, turn off the radio. You need to hear what the car is telling you. Listen for brake noises that indicates worn pads or warped rotors. Feel for steering that pulls to one side, indicating alignment problems or brake issues. Test the transmission through its full range, including reverse and parking maneuvers. Highway driving reveals problems that city driving can't. Wheel balance issues, suspension problems, and drivetrain vibrations all become apparent at speed. If the car vibrates at 60 to 70 miles per hour but smooths out at higher speeds, you're likely looking at wheel balance problems. If vibrations get worse with speed, suspect drivetrain issues that can be expensive to repair. Professional tip: test the brakes from highway speeds in a safe location. They should stop the car smoothly and straight with no pulsation through the pedals. Brake pulsation indicates warped rotors, while pulling to one side suggests caliper problems or uneven pad wear. After the drive, let the car idle and listen carefully. Check for new leaks under the car and any unusual smells from the engine bay. A car that develops new problems during a 30-minute test drive is telling you everything you need to know about its condition. Here's the brutal truth about used car buying. If you find any of these 7 warning signs, you only have 2 choices: negotiate a significantly lower price to account for repair costs, or walk away entirely. Most sellers won't negotiate enough to make problem cars worthwhile. A car with engine noise, transmission problems, or structural damage isn't a bargain at any price unless you're prepared for the repair bills that are coming. The math is simple. A €3,000 repair bill on a €12,000 car means you're actually paying €15,000 for that vehicle. At that price point, you could probably find a better car without any problems. Professional car buyers have a simple rule: if more than 2 significant problems are found during inspection, they walk away. The logic is sound. Cars with multiple problems tend to develop more problems. You're not just buying current issues, you're buying future headaches. Remember, there are always other cars available. Don't let emotional attachment or seller pressure push you into a bad decision. The perfect car for you exists, and it doesn't come with hidden disasters waiting to bankrupt you. Armed with this knowledge, you're now prepared to shop for a used car like a professional. But knowledge is only powerful if you use it systematically. Create a checklist based on these 7 warning signs. Print it out and bring it with you to every car viewing. Don't rely on memory when you're spending thousands of euros. You'll need a systematic approach. Budget for the inspection process. Set aside 200 to 400 euros for vehicle history reports and professional inspections. This might seem expensive, but it's insurance against buying a disaster. The alternative could cost you between 5,000 and 10,000 euros in unexpected repairs. Most importantly, trust your instincts. If something feels wrong about a car or a seller, walk away. Professional car dealers and honest private sellers welcome questions and inspections. Anyone who pressures you or makes excuses is probably hiding something you don't want to buy. The used car market is full of excellent vehicles owned by people who maintain them properly and are selling them honestly. You don't need to compromise or settle for problems. Take your time, be systematic, and don't let anyone rush you into a decision you'll regret. Smart European buyers use this information to avoid automotive disasters. Now you have the same knowledge that professionals use. The choice is yours, but at least now you can make it with your eyes wide open. Don't forget to subscribe for more automotive insights that could save you thousands. And check out our video on the 9 cars that won't even last 60,000 kilometers. Some of those reliability records will absolutely shock you. The automotive industry has secrets they don't want you to know, and we're here to expose every single one of them.